All right, so just when you think liberals cannot stoop any lower, they have found a way to outdo themselves. This time, the left is focusing on former radio talk show host and possible 2012 contender Herman Cain. Now, the blog alternet.org posted an article last week criticizing Cain for being a black conservative. Now, the post reads, quote, I find black garbage pail kids, black conservatives, fascinating, not because of what they believe, but rather because of how they entertain and perform for their white conservative masters. It went on to say, quote, we always need a monkey in the window, for he, she reminds us of our humanity while simultaneously reinforcing a sense of our own superiority. And the author of this disgusting post wrote another article today saying that he firmly stands behind these remarks. Joining me now with reaction, Fox News contributor, the one and only Juan Williams. Yeah, you're shaking your, I'm shaking mine too. Well, I mean,
it's just unbelievable. You know, it's just, the thing is, Sean, you know, the guys who write this kind of trash, who would attack Herman Cain and say that somehow he is playing to, he used this term, to white reactionaries, that he is pleasing, you know, white conservative fantasies. They act as if Herman Cain has no intellect, has no individual sense of what he can say and what he wants to say and what he believes. It is just so insulting. And the idea that this is black on black crime, this is essentially a black on black drive-by shooting in my mind. It's just, it just blows your mind. It started 21st century. He accuses Herman Cain of being a minstrel for giving a speech at CPAC. Now, if nobody spoke who was black at CPAC, then you'd say, oh, CPAC is racist. But because Herman Cain speaks there and Herman Cain is a genuine, sincere conservative, then they attack him as this minstrel. It's just sickening to me.
Well, he's been a friend of mine for a long time. He's brilliant. He's got a great background. He's dynamic. He's got an incredible personality. Here's the problem, Juan. Every African-American conservative I know faces this problem. Every single one.
Let me tell you, you and I go at it, but I must tell you, I get this all the time, and it's just dispiriting to me. But you stop, what you said, I just want to pick up on that. You stop and think about it. Justice Thomas on the Supreme Court. The liberals have just attacked that man so that you can't even understand what a brilliant mind America is lucky to have on the court. They've done this in terms of Thomas Sowell, one of the nation's, I think, celebrated economists. They do this in terms of people like Colin Powell, Condi Rice. You know, you stop and think about it. Even Bill Cosby. Bill Cosby. They say, oh, no, you know what? He's wrong to speak out about the problems in the black community. He's a black conservative, too. That just gives you an idea of how weak their position is and how they're willing. When I wrote my book, Enough, they said, why are you writing a book about, you know, the high number of dropouts in the black community, about the sad number of out-of-wedlock births? It's as if, you know, oh, no, don't say anything. But I'm inauthentic, Sean, but the minute some rapper shows up and starts using the N-word, oh, that's the real deal. That's the real black man. That's how crazy their thinking is. Yeah,
maybe you want kids to have a better life. Maybe you believe in their inherent talent. Let me give you a latest example of this. There was a protest by a well-known liberal group, and cameras were rolling, and they were asked, you mentioned Justice Thomas, and these outrageous things were said. Listen to this.
After we impeach Clarence Thomas, what do we do with him? Let's keep it real.
Put him back in the fields.
Justice for Anita Hill. What do we do?
Cut off his toes one by one and feed them to them.
We impeach Clarence Thomas. What do we do with him?
What do we do with him? String him up. And his wife, too. Let's get rid of Ginny.
You can say anything. We're all friends. Hang him.
Put him back in the field, string him up, lynch him and his wife.
You know, it's just unbelievable. And this thing, it's encouraged. And it becomes a mindset, and they're the ones who think that somebody else is locked in and not willing to speak honestly. They're the ones that are advancing this kind of, this is the only way every black person must think, and that if you're not doing this, then you're not truly black. I mean, it's crazy, Sean. It is just crazy.
Well, it seems to, you know, the funny thing is because I feel every election cycle, we can predict with certainty that, and I could take this back to '98. I'll give you a case-by-case example. Missouri radio ad, if you elect Republicans, black churches are going to burn. The 2000 ad against Bush by the NAACP, the bird dragging death, Bush supported the death penalty for the people responsible for that atrocity. It happens all the time. The very people that try to create a caricature that conservatives are racist
Here's what bothers me. You attack people like in the James Byrd case. You attack people like President, then candidate George W. Bush, who is a strong friend to the black community. And people still, around Washington still say he had a more diverse cabinet than Barack Obama. But, all that gets lost. All the idea of people as people having honest discussions, honest differences, debates gets lost. And who's putting people in racial boxes? Who's enforcing this kind of racial regimentation? But the guys who say they're the most liberal, they're the most open-minded, they're the most progressive, my God, they're the most regressive, Sean.
What's best for the country is why don't we just get beyond the issue of race? Why don't we just deal with the issues, the merits? I would like to see a time, and this is perhaps for another night, values-wise on issues and opportunity and on faith, I would like to see more African Americans vote conservative. Because,
the fact is,
and I don't understand why
truth.
90%, when we break down demographically in elections, why the African American community predominantly 90% of the time goes with the Democratic Party. I don't get it.
Well, look, there's some history here, and it's very heavy. It goes back to Goldwater and opposition to the Civil Rights Act, and obviously Johnson and civil rights.
What about Robert Byrd? What about Al Gore's father? What if the Republicans helped Lyndon Johnson pass that?
Absolutely. And just to finish on Herman Cain for a second, the idea that he's a successful businessman, a Morehouse man, well-educated, has beaten stage 4 cancer, isn't that the kind of guy that you would want your children to emulate, Sean?
Yes, at 100%. And except for your liberal views, you too.
You're too kind.
Except for those views, which I'm working on. Over time, I think I can change it.
You're working on me.
All right.